Yo, what's going on, peeps? Mm. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you share. So yeah, I had to drink. I didn't want to, but I had to do it. So, done the preview for our game against Leicester, and I thought maybe it won't go ahead, but the Premier League said yeah, it will go ahead. And fast forward to today, the game has now been postponed, and I'm not surprised. I did find it a shock that the Premier League were going through it with Leicester and Spurs having players out with COVID and what have you and injuries. So I'm surprised it took that long. Games did get called off, like Man United and Brentford, I believe. Watford and Burnley was called off as well. West Ham and Arsenal did go through. A couple of other games did get played, but I'm expecting more games to get cancelled, possibly, if not today, definitely this weekend. There'll be no games probably on the weekend, next to none. I can't say I'm surprised. The only thing that surprised me that it took this long. Now, this is the problem that the FA and the Premier League and all those involved seem to be going through and don't seem to understand. And the government as well. What they do is they see the numbers going crazy in terms of infection rate. Big up Macmillan, by the way. Big them up every time. You feel me? Always supporting Macmillan Cancer Support. If you can, make sure you don't donate. Even if it's £1, £2, whatever you can, donate. It's a brilliant cause. They help people that obviously have cancer and need support, like whether maybe their bills or help with this and that. And also when they pass away, they also give support to the family as well. So big them up as well for that. But I digress. They wait for the numbers to go astronomical and then they react. Now, this is what seems to happen a lot in football, so I'm not surprised. When you have clubs that are like a little bit, how can I put it, a little jaded, a little bit off the ball, not in the loop, maybe not taking it seriously, they react when things get really bad. That's when you see reaction. And for me, the numbers were going up for a while. The new variant came in, the Omicron come in. And for me, when that happened, that variant come in and you find that it's a bit more easy to catch and pass on and what have you, as you can see from the numbers soaring, that would be the time to bring necessary practices into place. Obviously, the social distancing and what have you is not going to be enough. And cleaning them and sterilizing the balls and equipment, not going to be enough. Because the players, obviously, they train together and what have you, cool. But outside of football, they have a life. They're going to be going around people and whatever else. They're not going to be just at training, go home, that's it, and then back to training and repeat. They have kids, they have family, they do what they got to do. And they also got to live and go out and shop and what have you. So they're going to buck people and probably contract it like that. And then obviously when they get back together, they're all going to pass it on because they're in a confined space. That's just common sense, right? So instead of saying, you know what, either we don't want to happen last season when football was shut, everything was locked off. But they want fans in the stadium, and it seems that's why they were so resistant to lock the games off. But if they found out about this Omicron and said, you know what are we gonna do? You lot can train, cool, but if you do it and like split them up, like you do this and then you lock that side and then do this, do that, and then that's what you used to do in school. You do one thing, then you go around and do the next thing. Or what they're doing now, which is probably a bit too late, but they should have done this before, probably could have saved a lot of time and a lot of corona cases if they had said, let's do a PCR test or some sort of test, stay in your car, run the test, give it to us. If it comes back negative, step out, go in the training facility. If it's positive, right, cool, wind your window up, mate, get your ass home and isolate. If they done that, then I don't think we get here now. Because even if you do get 1 or 2 cases, then it's just that. You don't get someone coming in and infecting the whole squad, pretty much. Like your whole first team. And usually sometimes they do training, they have the first team players training, and then the others, the fringe players, training somewhere else. So then you've got the fringe players that probably not contracting it because they're not with the first team who's got the damn virus. Now, Brendan Rodgers says that he was disappointed that they didn't cancel it before, but at least they've cancelled it now. I guess it's better late than never. But for me, this season's gonna look long. Games are gonna get postponed left, right. Games are probably gonna get cancelled today, weekend, and we've already. This is like our 3rd or 4th game we've had to postpone. I think we had Burnley for weather, Brighton, and now this. So this is our 3rd league game, and obviously we had the one from Europe. Now at some point we have to play these games, and obviously the season's going to start earlier next season because of the World Cup next year, if it even goes through. Who knows what's going to happen? It might not even go ahead with the way these cases are moving right now, but we don't know. As it stands now, it will be happening around this time next year. So the season will be starting a bit earlier. Cool. So when do we fit these games in? Bear in mind we're in the League Cup and still have the FA Cup. We're supposed to be playing West Ham. I don't think that's happening. So when are we gonna fit all these games in and play the games that we still have to play? Now this is the thing that they don't seem to understand. Why can't anyone use their brain and see where it's going and try and nip it in the bud and try and find a way to prevent it from going to this scale like it did last year? It's like they just don't learn nothing. It's like they do the same thing and expect a different result. So if they just use their initiative and say, you know what, this is a lot like last year when we first had COVID come round. Fine, if this is last year, cool, we're not used to that. That was unprecedented at the time, so we've never seen anything like it. So I could say, you know what, cool, fine. What's happening is unheard of. So I'm not shocked that there's a little confusion and not knowing what's going on. Fine. But that was last year. It's coming up to be 2 years. And you're telling me you don't know what you're doing. You're not seeing a similar pattern to say, you know what, we saw this last year, these are the signs. Nope, nip that in the bud. Do this, do that, bring this protocol into effect immediately. Same way they said we wear masks, effective immediately, they should have been saying, right, footballers, do this immediately. And even if the FA or the EFL, whatever it may be, said no, didn't say to do it, the clubs themselves should have said, you know what, alright, they haven't told us to do this, but what we're going to do, just to protect ourselves and the players, because we have kids at home and whatever, what we're going to do, and the staff as well, who also have families, what we're going to do, one test before you come in. If you get a little negative, come in. Training might be delayed a bit or what have you, cool. But you lot just come in earlier. Come in a little bit earlier, get the test done. Once everyone's tested, it's right, you go that way. Those that are affected, go that way. Go home, isolate, come back after you've had your time to isolate and had your negative test, come back. That's it. Simples. But I guess that would be too logical and probably cost a bit of money. That's probably why they're not really trying to do it. But that's usually what it comes down to, spending money. Usually the main factor, who knows. But I just don't know what's going on, and the season's looking like it's going to be a bit of a mazza, like it's going to get real techie and it's just going to get cancelled and postponed and just delayed, and God knows what's going to happen. And probably behind closed doors again, most likely the outcome. I think even if they have like double vaccine and passports and boosters and what have you, I think they will just do it behind closed doors like last season and put the games back on TV. That's what I believe will happen if it carries on like this, hitting the numbers that they are hitting. So who knows? We shall see. But as of now, and the time we're making this video, the game between Tottenham and Leicester has been postponed due to COVID reasons. So there will be no video later, obviously, because there'll be no game to review and no one to rate. So with all I say all that to say, you see how real it is. Please, please, please make sure you are moving safe. Wear your mask when you're around a crowded place. Obviously, if you're in a cinema and whatnot, or you're at a restaurant, you can't eat while wearing your mask. But just be safe. I'm sure they have it in place where you're not crowded around and surrounded by loads of people anyway, hopefully. But just please be aware. And until the next vid, I'm out of it. Peace.